What's up, you guys? Welcome to The Imagination. I'm your host, Emma, and today I'm honored to have back on the show for a second time ritual abuse, mind control, and organized abuse survivor and overcomer, TikTok whistleblower, inspiration, and content creator, Ramkoa educator, warrior of redemption, and someone I'm honored to call a dear friend, Charlotte. A little bit about Charlotte's history if you missed her first episode and what we will be discussing today. Charlotte arrived Earthside on December 28, 1987, a date chosen not by chance, but by destiny's quiet insistence. Born prematurely, she drew her first fierce breaths inside an incubator, already fighting, already unbreakable. What the world saw as a fragile beginning was, in truth, the opening chapter of an extraordinary life, the moment a warrior soul entered a battlefield no child should ever know, carrying with her the unbreakable light that would one day illuminate the darkness for countless others. Her mother's lineage traces a shadowed path: high-ranking Navy officers, 33rd degree Freemasons, Shriners, and even the hidden elite of the Royal Order of the Jesters. Yet within that darkness ran veins of brilliance, resilience, and intellect passed down like sacred fire. Benicia, California, the quiet ancestral ground, held secrets in its caves, but it also cradled a little girl whose spirit refused to yield. Her father's heritage carried the same complex weight: a Princeton prodigy recruited into classified realms, a chief engineer shaping the world's greatest hidden infrastructures. From Chicago's underworld to Florida's distant shores, the corridors of power and peril stretched wide, yet they unknowingly forged the very map that Charlotte would one day redraw with courage. Gifted with a rare and radiant mind, Mensa-level brilliance fused with profound intuitive gifts, she was marked early for greatness. While the world celebrated her in gifted and talented programs, unseen forces sought to exploit that light. Extensions of programs like Centerlane and MONARCH tried to bend her, yet every attempt revealed the truth: some souls are simply too vast to be contained. The exploitation eventually ended, but the echoes lingered, until just over a decade ago, when memory returned, not as a flood of pain, but as a tidal wave of awakening. What crashed over Charlotte was not destruction, but rebirth, the full, fierce recognition of her survival, her power, and her purpose. Today, Charlotte stands tall, not because suffering made her strong. That old story sells the soul short, but because unbreakable strength was her birthright, a flame no darkness could ever extinguish. She is fierce, radiant, and gloriously alive, reclaiming every fragment of her power with unapologetic grace. On the first episode we did together, Charlotte dove deep into the multi-generational layers of ritual abuse steeped into her family, weaving together the connections on both sides of the family that eventually set the stage for the life she was to be born into. And today we will be talking more about her birth story and early childhood, sharing some of her early memories and more visuals on screen, describing what she later discovered in hindsight were clues that there was something sinister lurking underneath the daytime life that was normalized for her and her siblings. To every survivor who hears her voice, she offers this eternal truth: you were never weak. You were born into a world no child should ever fight. Yet you are here, still standing, still shining. Your very existence is a victory. Charlotte is living proof that generational chains can be shattered, that programming can be rewritten into freedom, and that the deepest wounds can heal into the strongest wings. She's not merely a survivor, she's a revolution in human form, a beacon of redemption, a proof of unstoppable hope. In a war no child should fight, she emerges victorious, not a victim, but a force only getting started. Fuck you, Bechtel. The captives are rising, and Charlotte is leading the way. Before wrapping up the introduction of today's guest, I'd like to share just a couple quick reminders and updates. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, if you wanted to share any information privately with me, or if you were interested in submitting a written testimony to be featured in a Substack article, you can reach out to me via email at imagineabetterworld2020@gmail.com or standbysurvivors@protonmail.com. I'm also streaming new episode premieres weekly on my YouTube channel at The Imagination Podcast Official. Turn on your notifications and join our loving community in the live chats every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Central Time. Thank you all on the other side of the screen wholeheartedly for helping to make The Imagination the safest space on the internet for survivor, whistleblower, advocate, and educator disclosures. Your support means the absolute world to me and to every single guest on the show. So you guys, without further ado, please help me in welcoming back today's guest of honor, voice for the voiceless, walking miracle, overcomer and thriver, survivor and anti-child abuse advocate, and an absolutely incredible woman who is using social media to shine a light on the darkness and to set the captives free, the one, the only, Charlotte. Charlotte, it is an honor to have you back today. Thank you so much for coming on again.
Thank you for existing. Thank you for being you, and thank you for just being such a safe space, for survivor. Like, I feel like a human being here and with you. I'm not like a spectacle. I'm not just, making up stories. Like, I'm just a human who's been through these things. You really humanize survivors, really are respectful. And that's what we need more than ever. And also the fact, I'm doing a little show and tell with some things I have, we bring up, what do I remember from childhood? And it's like my life is so fragmented, right? A huge indicator of abuse is having memory loss, either years, either a person you don't remember that you like should remember. A lot of events, because normal memory loss, especially in the world we live in and all the chaos and the late stage capitalism, we're always go, go, go. There's going to be a lot of memory loss. We just have so much in our system inundated and we're stuck in our amygdala in like a general sense. But like these big blocks of memory loss, you know, it's like, what do we say about my childhood? Memory loss. And like you mentioned, like in looking back and okay, so gonna tell my story best I can of what I remember, but what in just I was tearing up there and like I'll probably like cry a bunch or maybe not, who knows what's gonna come out. And like it's so I've always had like what's either complete shutdown to my emotions or what I've always called chaotic crying, which was not actual integrative crying. Like it would just be intense and there and like extreme and often to make me look crazy. And I didn't realize, just like, oh, hysterical, like blah. So I wasn't taken seriously. Like in society, they also, in general, even though I'm a woman, even though I'm a woman and like that's more acceptable, but still overly emotional and all that stuff. But it's really nice to have access, not all the time, but I never had access to therapeutic crying and actual grief processing and gratitude crying. I have that too. Like this beautiful in touch without shame. I mean, shame will come on, it's complex. And I'm just so grateful because abusers, they don't want you to have healing tears. They don't want you to have anything that'll free up your soul, free you up for joy, They don't want you to have any of that. And the grief, when you grieve, it's the doorway to the soul. So I feel very grateful. And as you were saying all those kind things about me, I've seen your other, some of your other videos with other survivors, and the way you uplift us, that's foreign to most of us, if not all of us. Like, I'm lucky that I've gotten to the point where I have that. I mean, there's so much shame too people put on you, but just it's amazing. And I was looking through because my little show and tell, I was like, how do I tell my story and what has happened since I got clean and sober 11 years ago? And like you said, the awakening. I like how you phrased it as that because that's true. I mean, I felt crazy and was told I was crazy, not by everyone though. And those things I held on to and, one step at a time, one moment at a time. But just feeling these brought me back to 10 years ago. And where is it? Oh, thank you. So myself, but a lot of my alters inside. So I have dissociative identity disorder, hundreds of fully formed alters, and a bunch of fragments where I'm gonna get into that eventually, and why abuser groups like exploit that in a lot of ways. And extreme abuse, you're gonna have to slice off little portions of the memories, like just to survive, even if that part's not the intentional programming of groom DID, where they intentionally put DID into the child, which is a real thing. And Anyway, so much of my life, where is it? Oh, that's what I wanted to highlight. I feel like a failure. Oh, excuse me, little one.
I'm gonna mute my screen.
Did I not acknowledge your birthday?
Kiwi.
Oh,
She said
no.
perfect.
Happy birthday. Please keep that in. Happy birthday.
All right, it's staying in.
No, it was perfect. That's what I'm talking about, titrating down. Animals, I swear to God, they get nudges from their, like, my spirit guides or whatever, and they do little things. Like, I swear. I just, handsome boy, handsome boy. Okay, happy birthday. So anyways, I felt like a failure most of my life, especially, like, because I don't have typical success. I mean, I'm very blessed in a lot of ways, but, I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't have the like serious relationship. I don't have the corporate job. I mean, all these things. I am on federal disability. Which is a normal, like, it's stigmatized in general. And so this gets cemented by society, but also my abusers. Like, abusers want you to feel like a failure constantly. They put their shame on you, up in you. That's one of the reasons they get away with it, or they can continue the abuse without feeling, because they dissociate their shame and guilt on the child. Like, I really believe it's fully energetic, like they're intentional, and they just put it in the dissociated child, who's a sponge. They put that, which brings me to another thing I wanted to say, is that, so I have a lot of, so some of my recovery stuff, like my healing stuff, is that to the best of my ability, because I don't read it every day, like, I do my best to practice reading some morning readings. Well, at some point in the day readings. I have 4 different books, and this one's about codependency. And today's reading, little gotshot, well, when my friend bought me this, it says, "Listen, bitch," this little card said. So, and this one says, "You don't need permission to say no. Fuck them." I love you. Yay. Saying no is really hard, especially when your entire life has been stolen from you. Like, being programmed where no is not ever an option.
It's not an option.
Yeah, and I hate that there's a lot of rhetoric, like, and a lot of like, "Oh, you're 18 now. You should be able to say no." Like, I mean, and all, like, "You're an adult now. You should be able to say no." No, my nervous system has been groomed where autonomy is not a thing. And it is a big battle. Like, I don't know what a lot of people think that just at some point, I mean, that's toxic healing or whatever, where so it takes a lot, especially when you're a survivor of organized extreme abuse, and growing up, in dysfunctional families in general, which brings me to something I really wanted to say. So it's very important to talk about what we're talking about in terms of organized abuse. And I just want survivors of in-home incest, survivors of not, or it's a neighbor, it's a coach, it's a pastor, I just want you to know your abuse is so valid, and it fucks up every aspect of your life, and you deserve healing too. Because I know, again, I'm glad we can talk about these things, but I just want to speak to those survivors too, that your abuse is important to focus on and to heal as well. Because I know I'm worried that, like, those children and then the subsequent adults are feeling like their story doesn't matter, because there's so much focus, like with the Fucks team files and stuff, which is, again, important. So I hope I'm making sense here, and I just want survivors to know that. And all abusers, fuck you. Like, we're coming for you, like, on all levels. You think you're safe? No. We coming. Because also spirituality, I really think that is helping, like, just on a global scale, energetically. So anyways, back to this little reading I'm doing, one of the readings I do about codependency. Today's reading was letting go of shame. I'm really afraid to speak up, mainly because of that shame. There's so many things they've programmed into me. Like, they're societal, because they're powerful people. So they have trained society as a whole to shame just all over the place. And they've infiltrated every type of religion, like, they have their tentacles up in everything. I wish it were I know there can be like focus on like just Catholicism or just Christianity or just like Judaism or just, you know, they can really focus on, or Muslim people, like they can go all those. And the thing is, they're everywhere. I wish I could tell you it was just celebrities, or I wish I could tell you it's just like NASA. And it would be nice because I see that focus on, oh, and politicians and stuff, like one side somehow being the, you know, I mean, I mean, there's a lot we could get into there, but like, I wish we could know it's just one group and then we can tackle that because we can organize that and most people can you know, it's, I just like, I'm heartbroken by the fact that that's breaking up a solution that we could have, you know, by just thinking, oh, it's just like Satanists or it's just these people. Like it's, and I don't mean to overwhelm people and make people to feel hopeless. I just know that awareness that it's everywhere and like people get higher up and any position of power they get into. So I hope people can wake up to that it's everywhere. And I still have faith that we're getting, you know, we have things like this where we're organizing. It's stuff like this. So I don't know. I have a lot of hope. Back to this, letting go of shame. So just again, how much abusers just like give you their shame. And so since they're so dissociated from their shame, they completely let it go. They can continue to do these horrific things without having an actual human emotion, which would be shame to those things. You should be ashamed if you hurt a child ever. Like, and the guilt is theirs. So something that I wrote down is I am not responsible for the abuse, and I am responsible for my recovery. However, that first sentence, if you need to stop after I am not responsible for the abuse, that's okay too. Like focusing on that, because I have felt so, and abuser groups do that where they're like, you're at fault. You're a criminal. Like you're the reason that I did this. You know, you're just as guilty. So blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's not your fault at all. Nor are they, the secrets they're trying to keep you, like, it's their secrets and not meant for me or you anymore to keep. So fuck you, Bechtel. In summary and in summation, fuck you, Bechtel. Fuck you, Shriners. Fuck you, Royal Order of the Jesters. I'm coming for you, bitch. Fuck you, Navy. Fuck you, Department of Energy. Look at all that shit. I'm sorry. Ooh. Anyway, so it's just nice. I just want to thank you. You're helping us not feel like failures because I'm not a failure.
No.
None of us are.
Look
you
at
know? But this was me 10 years ago starting to have the memories. And this is me kind of telling my childhood too, with these, like, again, altars, which feels like different souls in my body. Literally does. And you cannot convince me any other way. Like, I know there's a lot of the mainstream psychology will say it's a cognitive distortion for someone with dissociative identity disorder to think they have different people in their body. I think that the formation of dissociative identity disorder is very spiritual. Personally, I don't think God put me through these things. You know, God, loving, higher power, whatever you want to call it. But I don't think God was like, Charlotte, you're strong enough. We're going to put you through these things. Nor do I think God ever abandoned me. I 0% believe that. I 100% believe that God was like, I'm here, okay? I'm gonna hold your hand, even if you don't know I'm here. Like, and I'll have the right people show up at the right time. Like, I'm here. Like, I have stuffed animals that should have been murdered. Like, that's gonna sound crazy, but they fuck with kids. Anything that comforts you, they're still here. I have 2 of those. I had a cat that wasn't murdered in front of me. I've seen cats be murdered, which I want to talk about a memory I had 2 days ago processed in therapy, which was in terms of seeing a cat tortured as a child. But she got to process that. Oh, it's so sad. So speaking of, okay, I'm sorry, guys. I feel like people relate though. This is having dissociative identity disorder. And I have ADHD and I'm an ADHDer, autistic ADHDer, so that can also have it present in a different way too. Did you want to say something?
No, I just love listening to you. I could listen to you all day. I love that you lace these these really hard things that you went through, with the wisdom that you've learned getting through it. You know, it is really important that people know that the final destination is not what the abusers did to you and said to you, that that was something that they put on you, almost like, you know, you're wearing an extra layer of skin and you can just take that off and accept the person that you are without the limited beliefs and these lies that were put on somebody. It's so important that somebody realizes that, you know, shame is such a big barrier to healing, and it's probably the hardest thing to get over, and it's obviously tied to guilt in many, you know, aspects. So understanding, like you said, that the abuse wasn't your fault and it's not your responsibility, that was somebody did that to you, you know, that can be such a relief for somebody to like take that burden and that heaviness off of them and throw it back on their abuser and be like, you know what,
just like big time. Like, bring it back to you. You're so wonderful. So anyways, I believe that it's very spiritual. Like, I literally believe that God in this body and helped the little girl, like, sent me different souls, and I'm not possessed. I don't know how to explain it. And potentially all the shame they put on me and all the energies they put, like, they, you know, I've had the electroshock torture as well, like all these energies coming at you and different forms of like external radiation coming, like there's so many things coming at the child, and perhaps God helped transform that energy into another soul and we could all work together to help. I, I'm just putting that out there. They feel like you cannot convince me that they're not different people. So the end of that. And I wanted to say that because that's just my experience with dissociative identity disorder. And I also hear other people with DID, well, one say the same thing, but I also hear people say, oh, well, you're giving dissociative identity disorder a bad rap, and you're part of the reason people don't believe in DID because you say stuff like that. Yeah, I've heard that. And no, and it's, I mean, that's their, I'm just like, whatever. So I just want to say, part of the reason I'm saying this is to help people understand my experience, but also if anyone else is here and has the same experience as me, like, that's your experience. Like, y'all different souls. Like, you know, I don't know how it works, but I also believe that spirituality is how you heal. Like, a huge part, and spirituality comes through also, like, I mean, that spiritual bond, God, whatever you want to call it, the like love, like genuine love. So like meeting you, for example, and like this, having this space, you know, that's God to me. And like, where I want people to know, like, there is so much beauty and you deserve it. And I deserve it. It's nice to hear that. So thank you for ameliorating for me and so many other survivors, like helping us lift the shame. Because shame, it's, again, you know, like you said, it's brutal, it's lethal. I think it's a huge reason people die by suicide, and that's a huge part of my story. My attempts is that deep loneliness underneath all that shame. Um, yeah, so thank you. Okay, let's start with me being born. So a little precious baby. So even pre-birth, torture starts, it's generational, right? So generations, they build up traumatized bodies. And they also, like, for example, dissociation, if a family has strong dissociative traits, like genetically, because we're all different genetics, some genetics are stronger than others. And so some families are very, like, they track psychic abilities too. They track intelligence levels. They track everything, and they utilize, like, I don't believe, like, they say someone has a low IQ. I don't see them like seeing someone with a low IQ and being like, we don't want you. If they have an opportunity to abuse, they're going to go for it. Like, if it's all about opportunity, they just do like a profile of the child, like, and then to see where would they be best in terms of the abuse they want to do. For example, like intelligent, like you might, hold on, what example do I want to use? Okay, I have a friend who's a survivor of similar, like Gateway or Stargate, Center Lane, that kind of stuff, and we have a lot of memories that match up and stuff. They're blind. They can't see. And so I fully believe that, and from their experiences, they want to see, okay, can a blind person, how do we exploit the sensory issue? Is this more advantageous for what we want to, are they going to be better at remote viewing because they're blind? Are they going to have this psychic ability that's more than the other? They often pick autistic children as well. Um, my brain's kind of all over the place, but like World War II, they've been experimenting on autistic children since that time. Yeah, this is documented exactly. And a lot of the things they would use to experiment back then, they utilize today. And one per a memory I have, and it lined up, is what is it, like free fall, gravitational fuckery. I have a lot of experiences of memories and then after effects of them doing some weird free fall thing with me. Yeah, and they document trying to figure that shit out to see psychic abilities with that. Um, and I have in my mind's eye, I have these documents and stuff I want to show you guys. So I apologize. I keep saying, like, trust me, bro. There's just so much I want to say. And so we can do a different like episode, like specific. So I just appreciate everyone doing their best to follow along with me. So yeah, but that's one of my memories, and I think I know the location or one of the locations where they did that. Yeah. Um, so I'm trying to expose these places too. So anyways, hold on, let me orient. Also, okay, so what's happening now, because I talked to you guys about like what's coming to me as a child's voice saying a no-no topic. Like this came up and she's like, no topic. I'm starting to feel floaty, and something that comes up, and this is part of Monroe Institute type stuff, which my family has ties there. Yeah, I heard some things. Well, it's like it's not proven they have ties, but everything matches up. And
It
maybe
does.
they didn't work directly for Monroe. I mean, we're in the area, my dad had access to things, but we definitely have everything that they talk about there so it's like, well, they at least, whatever institute my dad was a part of, they at least shared techniques. But something is a huge part of realizing how much hypnosis has been a part of my, I mean, that's a huge way they, like one of the main ways they have a child, the formation of DID, hypnosis, and like LSD and things like that is how they can have a child dissociate and then split them up inside how they want them, and create different alters. But when I'm having certain memories, and this is part of what's happening right now or was happening just now, and I can still kind of feel it, is fog is a huge, and here's a picture, which is like, ooh. So this is a picture, and every time I see it, it brings up something. It's weird. A lot of these pictures are very like, yes, San Francisco. That's San Francisco, by the way.
Wow.
Um, this for me inside is a bit of proof, because a lot of my pictures are like normal things, like this is cool, like I don't want to have a picture like this, but in terms of my like family and everything. But I've had fog come up for my entire life when I'm starting to get close to a memory, and I didn't realize, I didn't put anything together until recently of like, oh, this is part of your programming and hypnosis, because they do, like, per some books I read. So, which is also interesting, I read this, Blowing America's Mind, a true story of Princeton. Huh. Let's give a little nod to my dad. Um, yeah, Princeton, CIA, mind control, LSD, and whatever that Zen. Anyway, so this was the time my dad went to Princeton also. Little nod. Yeah. And they didn't yeah, so we'll have to go through that when we do our Bechtel shit deep dive.
Yes. Fuck Bechtel.
Oh, and also, so look, yeah, fuck you, Bechtel. Get out of here, Bechtel. That's, again, that coming for you, Bechtel. I love you so much. The Men in Black, which brings me to something. So this is,
That's
I did,
weird.
yeah. So, which he looks like my dad a little bit. I'm gonna get real. Like, I don't think my dad, as far as I know, never was a Man in Black type guy. So anyways, my dad, he died while on a project in Texas, from a heart attack. He died alone, and it took him 3 days, his company to realize he was dead. And I'm going to jump forward to a partner I had. He was my first love, and I thought I was going to end up with him. And he died in 2018. So my dad died in May. My first love died in May from an overdose. He had been sober.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really sad, but it was also sus. He wasn't found for 3 days. And my dad died of a heart attack, and he was an alcoholic, and that was associated with that. Yeah, so they both died in May. Years later, obviously. My dad died supposedly in 95, and then 2018 was my first love. And I'm saying just that for anonymity purposes for his family. Um, but also his dad worked for Bechtel, my partner's. Looking back, I realized that one. And then my most abusive ex, when I was still drinking and using pills as self-medication, but I was addicted as well. His dad worked for Bechtel, that dude. And I never connected. Yeah, I never was like,
God.
that's a little bit weird. And my therapist and I, from that super abusive, he turned out to be a neo-Nazi, all this, that's another journey. But turns out he was a handler. I don't think my first love was a handler. I do almost 1,000,000% believe that he was a survivor of this kind of abuse. And he was autistic as well, which is another thing about abusers picking different people for different like stuff to do different things. But there's just a lot of things that add up to my first love was a survivor too. He had a lot of symptomology of not only having dissociative identity disorder, and then the shame, but also having been sexually abused as a child. There were a lot of things that were very clear to me in hindsight. Well, I knew like kind of when it was happening, but then he started overdosing, and that kind of got in the way of any sort of healing. Really sad how the system failed him. But again, it was very sus that it was May. He hadn't been found like for 3 days. It was related, a lot of similarities to my dad's death. And then Bechtel, another Bechtel. And his dad was higher up like my dad was. And I'm like, huh. Yeah. And did the traveling all over the world and stuff and all this stuff that I'm like, I should figure out what college he went to. Probably Princeton. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, and similar age to my dad. So, or at least my dad would have been if he were alive, but he might. I don't. That's a whole thing. So, anyways, back to my dad's death back in '95. So I was almost 8. My sibling was almost 11, and what happened is my mom came home because she worked in San Francisco and came home early, and she's like, yeah, your dad's death he died. And I remember just feeling numb. There was a part of me that was like, oh my god, I'm safe. And I didn't understand, like, yay. And then a part of me thought I caused his death because I wanted him to die and all these sorts of things, but I didn't. And then all these things because there's so much attachment fuckery, and that's part of how they get the child to have dissociative identity disorder is chaotic attachment. It's not just like just secure well, there's what is it, like avoidant attachment, secure attachment, and insecure attachment. It's just chaotic. There's just like so much to just blah at the child. But anyway, so my mom tells me that she's like, yeah, 2 men in black came to my work, picked me up, and told me your dad died. And at the time, I was like, normal, yeah. But looking back, that was really sus. And then the same two, well, I'm not sure if they're the same 2 men, but I remember opening the door, but at my house a few days later or something, opening the door, and 2 men in black came to the house and looked through the house, said, oh, your dad has some things that we need. Yeah, and they looked through my dad's brief. Yeah, no, look, at the time I was like totally normal, right? Like thinking, telling you this, I'm like, how is this a thing that happened? But it happened. And again, I guess that shit was so normal that I was just like, come right in, random dudes. And they went, I wish I had those documents that they took. Like, I wish I knew what they took. But again, it took me till adulthood to realize, why did 2 men in black go to my mom and tell her, like, it wasn't the police. Like, I would expect maybe the police would tell her, I don't know, but 2 men in black came to her car out in the parking lot. Like, doesn't that sounds weird, right? Like, it's just a little,
Yes.
And then them coming to my house and looking through my dad's office and all over the house and taking things, looking back, I'm like, that's actually kind of weird, right? That's weird, right? I'm trying to validate my reality.
Do you
Yeah,
know
that's
what
just
they took it all?
I just no, I'm assuming like hard drives. I know it was back in the 90s, but of course they have technology ahead of the times that's out, but I'm pretty sure hard drives and paperwork. They took a lot of physical papers. I know that. And then boxes of things, so I don't know what was in there either. He may have had little things he was working on. Yeah, so but I wish I knew everything. So, but I don't. So that makes me feel very validated also because that's seems very governmenty. Like, who are you taking my things or my dad's things? Anyway, so that was just an odd thing after my dad died, and at his after his funeral or at the memorial or whatever at my house, my childhood house, I remember this guy who looked like an old-timey movie star. I don't know how to describe him, but I don't like, I knew who he was. He was in a business suit and he looked out of place, but he also completely blended in. And he had this particular hat on, like, I wish I feel like 1950s looking garb, fancy guy in a movie looking thing. He was real. This is the real person that was there. But he came to the downstairs room that I was in, and I've always had this memory. So these are just little things I remember from my childhood that I'm just trying, to give everybody some sort of something. But he came downstairs to the room I was in with the other kids and he did a hand signal on his belt. And then I black out and the memory goes away. And I don't remember, there's like something he did down there because there's all sorts of hand signals, like back to shame. There's all sorts of hand signals and eye signals and words they say and things like that that will elicit different things, different alters to come forward, different purposes. There's a certain, it's called neurolinguistic programming. Um, that's what they do. It involves hypnosis and a bunch of other, hypnosis is a big part, but there's a bunch of other things involved there, the torture of the electroshock and while raping the child also and doing all these things. But anyways, he did this hand signal blackout. I still want to uncover more of that. But again, that dude to me is somehow associated with those Men in Black people. Because he was both, again, completely out of place and blended in because um so something that's a huge part of my abuse are holograms. I don't have all of it figured out. Like even from when I was a baby in a crib. Just holographic things fucking with me. So shortly after my dad died, I'm with one of my best friends growing up, and I 100% know that she was abused too by my dad and like all those things. Like I've met one childhood a friend from childhood who I'm still in touch with, who they actually have come to me and they remember and they know they have dissociative identity disorder and they're like, your dad raped me too. And Bechtel, yeah, she's also the Bechtel man, blah blah blah. Like she's another thread that I'm hoping we can together kind of piece stuff together. She's more at the beginning of memories, and I don't know, like I've always known she was abused next to me, but I never wanted to, like there's a lot of adults now that I want to be like, hey, did my dad rape you? But I don't want to go at them like that because that's not helpful for anybody. But I have people from my childhood come to me and they're like, hey, there's so many pictures of us hanging out as a child, and like I know we hung out all the time, but I don't remember any of it. And it's because my dad sold you and raped you, like. And that's another thing to bring up, shame and guilt, is my dad used me to get opportunities with other kids to hurt them. And it's not my fault. But, of course I'm a little child. I don't, you know. So, where was I? Oh, holograms. So, that childhood friend who, ironically, I haven't seen her in decades. I saw her last night. This friend I had not seen. Yeah, it felt a little gang stalky. Like I always try to like differentiate between, is this gang stalky or is this spiritual God, like putting things together, and because there's a lot of that too. So, but when I saw her last night, because one of the pictures here, oh wait, I sent it to you, the cave picture. I was abused in a lot of caves, um, in Benicia, and other locations near Benicia. But I'm covering her obviously for anonymity. But that's the friend I saw last night while I was in my hometown, visiting my hometown, because I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, but there's a lot. We could get into that and like go home programming, all those things. But anyways, saw her, hadn't seen her in decades, and I was just looking at this picture 2 nights ago, and it's just interesting how certain things line up. But when I saw her, I've known it happened, but seeing her last night, I was wondering if she had started remembering. And so I wanted to be like, hey, as you raped, but I obviously didn't say that. But she's the one that's covered up there. And this is one of the caves that we were abused in. And if you like a close up on my face, you'll see I'm pretty dissociated. Like, I don't remember that picture. I don't remember being that age at all. And I'm not going to show you her face, but her face, she's just as dissociated as I am. And then if you look at the back, do you see it's kind of getting covered? Like they're putting stuff in there to try to cover it a little bit. Like they do that with caves a lot. Like, in the 90s, 80s and 90s, there was that elementary school or daycare or something that was a huge part of the satanic panic where, I'll have to find the book.
Presidio daycare?
Yeah, where the kids were like, hey, we were electroshock tortured and raped at this whole thing. And they discounted it, right? Like everyone was like, no way. And I read a book, they showed pictures, and they were like, hey, there are caves here and like places that lead to the caves, and they're covered up real shitty like that, where they just like, you could tell it was a last minute cover up before if I could, 1 second.
It's amazing you have these photos and all of these different documents and stuff all saved up.
Yeah, no, it makes me think. So back to, sorry, there's so many things. It is amazing. I feel like my mom has altars inside her that have gathered evidence to try to help me tell this story, because she's definitely a system, and she was definitely abused by my great grandpa, who Royal Order of the Jesters. Like I have no doubt that she was a part of those rituals and weird shit. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I was too, because he died before or after I was born, like 5 years after. So I'm pretty sure I was also abused directly by Royal Order of the Jesters, and not just like a lineage thing, because I'm her daughter.
Yes.
Like there's no so
You had those songs too. You didn't show, like, we didn't go through exactly what they were, but you have like some of the song programming that goes along with the jesters too, which is really telling.
I saw that. Yeah, right. Oh, that's a good point. That's very validating to the fact I was okay. But I saw on my first video we did together how that person did the whole railroad thing.
Yes.
And railroad, that cave I showed you, there's a railroad track in front of it, and I have memories of a black train coming there, and and stopping and taking a bunch of, it was a reenactment they did of like concentration camps, and they had like, it's a whole thing. I just want to talk about so that friend in front of the cave, she we were in this singing group, like a normal everyday life singing choir thing. We were 7, and we were at like outdoors, probably, no, it was May. So I don't remember what we do. We were singing outside with our group, and we were in the center of this circle and just like crowded with all the kids. And I saw my dad. So this was, I don't know, maybe a week after he died, and his casket was an open body casket. Now so one would assume, oh, you saw him dead. They do have really good ways to fake deaths and do makeup and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons I'm a little conspiracy theory here. I don't think Fuckstein is dead. We all know something's weird with that, but like some people have looked at his body bag stuff, and I'm like, that doesn't mean it's him. And I don't know. And maybe he is dead, but I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. But my point here is that you can fake things. You can
Yes.
definitely fake things and make everyone believe. So anyways, I was in that center and I saw my dad. He was across the way and I was like, it's a week. Looked exactly like him. And then they went in a store, but I had to be like I wanted to run over there and like hug him because I missed him. But I also was like, is that him? I want to go check. And but I wanted to people please. Oh, I'll go look after we finish our song and go run over there. And I think it's no coincidence that my friend and I were in the center where we couldn't go. Like, I think that was planned too. I think it's very intentional for me to see that, whether it was a hologram, a lookalike, or actually my dad. I saw that. And then I was like, maybe I hallucinated. And I turned left to look at my friend and she said, did you see him? I saw your dad. So she saw it too. And so we both, when we could, ran over and we couldn't find him. So again, holograms are, if you look at, so I was tortured in Disney World. That's a big one for me. And you know who liked going there? Fuckstein. He also liked, but which brings me, has anyone here, Jacksonville, Florida and Gainesville, Florida? Like I know Palm Beach sketch, Orlando, all that shit, but anyone here know of someone, Jacksonville or Gainesville, Florida? I found one that I'm really close with, and we were both abused by this one particular person that's tied to my family, not biologically, and I'm not ready to come forward completely with this person. But Jacksonville, Florida survivors are starting to remember, so I just want to put that out there if anyone wants to put in the comments. We're remembering, and a system, we have the mutual abuser, and I found two that I've showed a picture of this person, and he's connected globally. He travels the world. He's the NASA guy. Like, he has contracted for NASA, and in some of their NASA things, what are they, like reports or he has written articles that they have published. So he's like, they like him. So he's very well connected there. I can't say more right now, otherwise I'm going to spin out and not be able to talk for a while.
Totally.
But he's connected. And so again, Jacksonville, Florida specifically, anyone else, or if you know of anyone, or just start saying Jacksonville, Florida sucks. Like anyone agree? So fuck you, Jacksonville. We're also coming for you.
Fuck you, Disney.
Fuck you, Disney. No, for real. Fantasia. I mean, we all know. It's creepy in and of itself. That's all I'm going to say.
It is.
Yeah, period. Hard stop. So anyways, Orlando, Florida abuse there. But, Tower of Terror. That kind of stuff. They have the holograms when you go in, the creepy people. They, again, holographic abuse. Like, that's everyone who goes on that ride sees the, like, bellhop who's a hologram. And so they have really good holographic technology that the government had even before, like, way more advanced, even before people knew about holograms. They've had all this technology. And I have an altar that keeps speaking that current day stuff. There's she sees a lot of holograms being shown to the masses right now. Yeah, no, if you research, there's telecommunications too. So you could literally, I'm not saying this is happening, but you could literally be in the White House remotely. So you can be off in, like, I don't know, let's say Florida, and they could holographically do this telecommunication that they started, like, they talk about that. It's really hard to put words, but you could be a hologram talking, like you'd be talking from Florida, like saying stuff, but you're there. I don't know how to fully explain it, but just know holograms suck, or they're being utilized. Holograms can be cool. They're being utilized to torture people and lie to people. I know that sounds, it's a conspiracy that's real. At least I've lived it, where they do holograms. And so this brings me back. My dad may have been a hologram that we saw, but I also saw him when I was, I guess when I was able to drive, when I was 16. No, I guess I was younger too, when people were driving me around Benicia. I'd see him driving. So that's another after he died. So again,
I just want to add too, just to validate what you're saying. This was a different situation, but I lived in Las Vegas for over a decade, and they have tons of Cirque du Soleil shows, and I've went to a few. One of them that I went to was this Michael Jackson tribute, and it was, like, but at the end of that, it's like all, actors, they sort of do like this, gymnastic show, and it's pretty neat. It's more like hip hoppy. At the end, there's a song, and they bring a hologram of Michael Jackson up on the stage, and it literally looks exactly like him. He dances for a whole song as a hologram. And this was like a decade ago that I went and saw that. And it like everybody was like crying in the audience because it literally looked like.
Oh, yeah.
But that was like a decade ago. And it was like, it literally looked like he was right there. Like it was him dancing, and he looked 3D. He looked exactly like a person. So they've showed like this technology to the public. Like Michael Jackson was not, like, he's not even alive, and he was there.
He's been gone for a while.
Dancing and moonwalking on that stage, for everybody. And it was like super emotional for the audience. Like it literally looked like him. So, and that's just what they show us. I can only imagine like how it is behind the scenes, where it's so much more advanced than what they're showing us.
That is what, that is very, I forgot I had heard about that, but it's good to know, like, from you how real it looked. So
it was
even
so
like
real. People were like bawling their eyes out, like fans of his. It was amazing, just.
And that's a good purpose for holograms, to bring joy to people. Not
But I mean, like, you can see how that could be so terrifying to a child if like they saw something or experienced something really sad or a loss or something horrifying, and then they're using a hologram. You can use that abusively, bringing back, deceased people, or creating like demons or monsters that look literally real, like they're right in front of you. I couldn't even imagine. You wouldn't know, especially if you're little, like, and you're a child, or like you'd think 100% that this is real.
Exactly. And it's disgusting what they do. And it, again, I'm like, I don't know if he's a hologram or a real person. So that adds to the gaslighting. Big time.
Yes. And there's no like conspiracy. This is stuff they're literally doing, like in Las Vegas with holograms. Like it's public that they're doing these things. So I can only imagine how they're utilizing it in bad ways.
Yeah. Thank you again for validating that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And as a baby, and I've heard, okay, back to babiness, we'll get to that. So they do a long lineage, like abuser groups, like we were talking about, when like you've heard from numerous survivors who are born into these like long lineages of these like, Freemasons, Shriners, Royal Order of the Jesters, like high up in certain companies, CIA, Navy, like all sorts of things. So yeah, they track lineages, they track genes and find favorable genes to them, favorable for different purposes. And then they'll typically, like, they want the mother to be stressed out. Like oftentimes they'll torture the pregnant mother. Like they will find mothers that are stressed out, so the baby already, while it's forming, they don't have a safe environment. Like they have, as well intentioned as mommy might be, or not, she could be a part of it too and actively like, but they choose and they encourage and they foster this type of environment for a baby to start. So the torture starts as soon as you're a zygote, as the conception. And so your nervous system, you're coming to the world with already a fucked up nervous system because you're born in stress. And so I do believe it was intentional. I don't think when I was conceived was intentional. It may have been, but I think that the abuser group were like, okay, what can we work with what we got? She's pregnant. Let's see. She's set to be born to be a Capricorn. Do we want her to be a January? My dad was born January 11th, and I was set to be born, and that's another trigger day for me, like an anniversary of traumas, and so that's a really extra hard day for me and like everybody inside my system. But so I think they were like, okay, do we want her December, do we want her 1987, or do we want her 19, like I really think this shit is intentional. And they're like, where are the stars and where's this? Like I fully, with every fiber of my being, believe that they pick out all these things, whatever. Like I think that is a thing. I've heard it is a thing, but like in my experience. And then I do believe they wanted me to be a preemie. I mean, I wasn't a preemie, but I was born early, And then I almost died. I had some sort of rare or I don't even know if it was rare, but infection. And then the medication they gave me almost made me deaf, or that was, I don't know. I'm not deaf. I actually have excellent hearing at my hearing tests. They always say excellent. And I actually hear I hear differently than most people do out of this ear. I have like it's per vibrations versus like going in directly. It's like what is it? Bone, like my bone vibrate. Yeah, I forget what it's called, but it's a different way I hear and then translates in my brain sound. Like I don't fully understand it, but people can Google it and look it up, bone conduction or something like that. So I think that potentially I did lose some hearing, and then there are some things that I pieced together that enabled me to be able to hear, but I'm not ready to talk about those trauma memories yet and what that's involved. But I'm not alone, unfortunately, and treatment is starting to be starting to happen. So that gives me hope for myself and other people with the similar types of abuse. But I was in an incubator for like a few weeks and did not get to bond with my mom physically. So I was not touched. And that's another thing they do intentionally to start with the fuckery and the fuckery of with the mom, the already stressed out mom. Not having the physical touch bond with my mom, even if it's like even if she's stressed out, having that skin touch is so important for a child.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I think they can oftentimes the abuser groups utilize this of intentionally having them be born early, go into an incubator, and have them not have that touch. But something they also do is they can have them super bond with the mom, and then they like kill the mom, or they have something else happen, because oftentimes they'll have the child bond with or this is a frequent like storyline and technique that abuser groups use, and it's definitely a part of my story, where they oftentimes have the child bond like deep oh good they bond deeply with like another child, or like another like a caregiver, or say like a babysitter, or even with the mom, or even with the dad, just get really close, feel really safe, and then they either have the person turn on you, or they have the person die or just disappear, or they fake that person's death and they come back, and then they just do some sort of fuckery where that person as that safe thing for you is just completely taken away. And they can do things where like put you in a bind and be like, hey, you're either gonna like kill this animal, or you're gonna have this person die, or if you talk about something, we're gonna hurt your favorite person that makes you feel safe. They do all sorts of things. So it happened with myself and my sibling. They were my person, and the storyline we got our whole lives was that as soon as I was born, my sibling just hated me, because they have always had this like disdain for me. They used to always say, I never want you, when speaking to me, to be 100% happy. And they would say this when I think I was about 8 when I have this memory. And I remember one time asking, why do you hate me so much? And they just said, I don't even know. I just want you to never be 100% happy. And there's a lot of stuff looking back, like there's part of our abuse has a lot to do with frequencies, and they were trained to hate me. And cuz looking at pictures, as soon as I found like pictures from my childhood through my archaeological dig of my grandparents' house and everything like that, um finding all these pictures up until I was about 3, I am shining in pictures with my sibling of us next to each other, and so are they. It was clear as soon as I was born, my sibling loved the shit out of me. It was clear, and you can feel it from the pictures. And then there comes a point where the energy shifts and they hate me. So I fully and that means that I was stolen from my sibling too. Like we had this beautiful bond, and then it was just raped from us, you know? And so up until recently, that's another thing about boundaries in adulthood with abusive families in general, but toxic and the cultiness and all this stuff. But for a majority of life, there was just that hating. And again, frequencies are a huge part of my abuse, like organs, like not the organs in your body, but the organ things.
Oh, the
They, I'm
instrument.
Yeah, thank you. Instrument. That's a huge part. Like there's this Shriner building or whatever in San Francisco, and I have this memory of them playing, and I found the building and pictures of it. I forget what it's called. Yeah, and they I have a friend who actually he did like lighting for some production, and he got to be like up in the attic, and there was a bunch of weird rooms in there, and he's like, that's like devil shit. He's like, there is weird energy in this building. Yeah, so he even, and he's not particularly like psychic or sensitive like that, but he's like, I didn't even want to go in this one room that was like blah. He's like, I didn't want to get, I just didn't know. So basically it's an evil place. And I remember men being in this like ritual abuse type stuff, Benicia
Oh,
stuff when I was a child, and just them playing that goddamn organ. And I looked at, found a picture of it. I'll have to send it to you when we do a Shriner or Royal Order of the Jester, whatever. And I just remember them playing certain frequencies, and there's like a trapdoor thing happen. So there's that. And then there's computer things they do, or at least part of my abuse. And I am convinced that around my sibling, when I laugh at a certain pitch, it just sets something off inside them. And then they start telling me I'm dumb and I'm stupid and that I need to be quiet because I'm making everybody unsafe. And that's an altar inside. That's one meant to hate me and separate us and quiet me in general. But also, they have some protector altars that what are thinking they're helping the situation by having us quieter so we're not attacked by people. So it's both like organic and also groomed within my sibling and within myself. And again, I've noticed every time it's a specific thing that gets up, I can't recreate it. But and then yeah, it's really just observing. And again, I think that's frequency based. And I'm not sure if there's something like, I don't want to talk more about this right now, but eventually I want to come up about how I think it's triggered within the body. But, more will be talked about when I'm ready, and survivors are starting to talk about this because I'm not alone in the symptomology and this experience. And my therapist has seen it and her colleagues and stuff. So it's a thing and solutions are coming. So, sibling. Oh yeah, so the attachment fuckery started very, very young. I mean, pre-birth, because that's again part of how they get the child so dissociated, and how they can also have the child attached to handlers, abusers, and it's already so dysregulated. And then within the like cult structure, if you will, oh, you can just rely on us. We're what makes you safe. Don't talk to outside people, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this brings me to a couple things. Again, my altars, we've done a lot of collages, and that's some of the ways some altars communicate. And again, 10 years ago, this was essentially me. Fate of a doomed child. When we made this, I did not realize how
oh my gosh.
like perfect this was as a description of my childhood. Oh, it's heartbreaking. So yeah, fuck you, Bechtel, and everybody, just put that up in there. But for real. Anyways, so yeah, how like again, 10 years ago, I did not realize the full weight of what altars are trying to say. And some like ritual abuse type stuff is that a lot of devil themes comes up. Again, my dad could be charming. He was so loved for generations. Yeah, so again, this kind of tells my childhood in a lot of ways. Certain things that happened, and altars again were trying to tell me about the organized extreme abuse and the ritual abuse, and just how much they, you know, the fuckery. And I have so many, where are we at? And then also there's a lot of themes too where I talk about like multiple victims happening. He was evil. The unthinkable evil. And again, these are altars, like, my life is so fragmented, and they're trying to help us tell our life story and how much he got away with it. And this was very telling. This one that came up of, I have a lot of these masks that part of the ritual abuse stuff that I'll eventually talk about. And a lot of like death themes, and it's on another one.
Oh my
But a lot of
gosh.
creepy devil themes. And again, I made this 10 years and I was like, what is this about? Yeah, so just again, this is like me trying to tell you guys my story and other altars. Because a lot of times, even though I use a lot of words, it's hard to say things out loud. It's a family affair, again, generational. Um, and then this stuff. So,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
this one's very telling. Um, this also came up, and I was like, ha, I don't know what I thought, but he had a gun. So something that would happen that he would do is, we're not allowed to throw up when we're being raped, unless that's what a client wanted. It's depending on the pervert, the piece of shit. And so the gun story that was coming out is that my dad was training me to not throw up while raping, being raped in the face. You know what I'm saying? And so he'd hold the gun and say, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up. And eventually, like, I'm really good at controlling if I'm going to throw up or not, even if my body needs to. Like, because for that reason. And there's so much,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just very, very complicated. So many natural, like, of course the child should be able to throw up if someone's raping their face, like, or other disgusting things that have happened, like things you were made to eat that you should have been allowed to throw up. Yeah. So again, the gun was starting to talk. This also is tied to ritual abuse, and also I have an altar that looks like this. I've had a memory of me staring out the window of my childhood. I was probably about 10, and I always had a problem with sleeping, and I used to think, from a memory I've had my whole life, as I was just sitting on my bed and staring out the window because I was waiting for this to come kill me. So I literally, as a child, just kept waiting for death to come to me, and I thought I was just staying up all night. But per memories I started getting 5 years ago, that altar would be in bed the whole time and just staring out the window, and that's the memory she got. And then another altar would actually come forward and go outside to the front door to go out to some abuser people. And in my hometown, there's a building that I found that there's a bunch of caves in Benicia, and one room altars have led me to places per memories and been like, oh, they took me there. They took me under in that room and did horrible things to children, Um, yeah, so when we do our deep dive on Benicia and the Navy and all that, I'd like to share more about that. But anyways, but I have an altar that looks like that too. And it's interesting because um uh the altar that was sitting in the bed. So the altar that she thought this was coming, she thought that she would see the Grim Reaper come because she'd stare out this window all night until the sun went up, and then she could get like an hour of sleep before school, right? But again, she thought, turns out that altar, I mean, that this is an altar that somehow, I don't know how to explain it, but dissociative identity disorder, how I experience is there can be altars externally. I see them in my mind's eye, but they can be external, and they're not demons. Like, even though this looks like a demon, it's an altar called Night Terror. I don't know his actual name, and it's actually a child altar that was made to think that it was the Grim Reaper. So abusers were like, no, this is you, and your mission is to make everybody who's forward think they're going to die. And it's a silencing technique. The child I have had, so again, it was external, then through therapy starting about 8 years, maybe 9 years ago now. He Night Terror was able to come inside the system again in my mind's eye. So he is inside, and then, and again, still afraid of him, right? Because that's what's been associated, just evil, all this stuff. He came inside, and then as we were able to communicate with this altar, he actually has a really sweet face. It's still a skull. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a cartoon skull, and it's really sweet. And his energy is the sweetest because under this is a precious little altar boy who's probably about 4. So at the time, the body was probably about 4. The abuser groups made this altar come forward, torture the poor little boy, and then make him think he's some sort of evil thing that needs to attack the system to keep quiet. So, but the healing that's happened around Night Terror, I don't know the little boy's name, but one survivor of similar circles, because it's organized abuse, and I've met other survivors who have shared torture people. You know, we have the same abusers and similar inside setup because our abusers use the same techniques, you know, a lot of similar techniques, but that she also has a night terror who's actually a little boy. Yeah, so we got the same formula from the abuser group. Yeah, so, and also fun fact, my dad had a fake eye, and he would pretend to roll it. Like, there's a lot of themes where the abusers would like bury us alive or do some horrible torture thing or just be cruel, and they'd be laughing the whole time as I was crying, screaming out for help, whatever. They'd just be laughing. So something my dad would do in like everyday like the nice memories is he'd be in this one chair in my childhood home, and my mom was there too, and he would pretend to take out his fake eye and then roll it after me. And then I'd be screaming and then he would laugh, and so would my mom. They'd just be like, "Ha ha, Charlotte's so ridiculous." I'm pretty sure he just had a marble in his pocket and he rolled it after me. But of course, little girl me thinks it's. And then I have seen him with it out and just the eye socket. Yeah, it's gross. And I've also seen animals, which was something a little came forward in therapy 2 days ago, which was very healing, but so sad. And I was like crying for her. She saw a kitten getting its eyes poked out, and she was trying to save it, but it was through like this glass. It was so sad.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Oh,
I know, little baby. And the thing that happened in therapy yesterday, so there's this one, sorry, and a little's kind of coming forward right now. Is it okay that we're talking right now? We just need
absolutely.
reassurance. She wants to
Absolutely,
know.
yes. We would
Okay.
love to share with you.
Okay. She and I'm pretty sure this is her, which is really interesting. So if you,
Oh my gosh.
and if you look how dissociated she is. Like,
It's
I
so
know,
cute.
I know. Oh, and also there is sorry, evidence of at least neglect. She's wet herself, or it's come, I don't know. But
Oh,
horrific things obviously happened to this poor little precious child.
oh,
Um, but the memory that came forward, so there's this man that is still alive that we see frequently, not in person, but we're starting to have memories of, because now I used to stare at him all the time, like just this obsession. And I see that in survivors of this particular person where they either are obsessed and have to see everything this individual does, or they cannot look at him and any mention. So I was going through a long phase of being obsessed, having to check every micro movement of this person's face and see everything I possibly could to try to piece anything together. But I was like, I've never met this person. I've met this person. Like it's anyways, but recently, which is a safety integration thing, I'll see this person's face on something, and a little started coming forward, and she's like, I can't, he's a bad man, and just shut down my phone or shut down whatever I'm looking for. And so I'm starting to believe myself that something actually happened. Um, but poor baby. I'm just a poor
oh,
baby. So that's like kind of telling to me. And also like the fact she can even come forward is incredible, and say like,
thank
I don't want to
you.
look at this. He's a bad man, and
The
like I
courage.
Yeah, the courage and the fact that I'm helping to do a safe environment and finding people like you and fellow survivors. This is all part of building safety. So
Yeah.
littles like her can, little what feels like a little child can come forward and be seen.
Yeah.
So what happened in therapy is I was telling my therapist about the fact this happened where, she's then coming forward and like, he's a bad man. And like, cause she's definitely witnessed him do horrific things to other people and children, and adults and all sorts of horrific things that just beyond perverted people do, and the
Mhm.
high levels of power. But, what started happening is all of a sudden, I was, like, on a set, like, the best I could describe it is like a snuff film. I'm not sure if I don't know what I would consider in the snuff film, but it was not a fun place to be, and it was definitely being filmed, and she was, like, in this, it was, like, Aladdin themed almost. I don't think it was Aladdin per se, but she felt like Jasmine from the movie, and Aladdin is a thing. I mean, Disney movies. I love Aladdin though, but, they utilize things that, like, a child will see, and it's all, "Yay, it's so fun," but then there's torture behind it and all these things. But anyways, all of a sudden this veil opens, and there's this big spotlight on her, and, sand, and then something about an hourglass, so timing, right? And sand being poured on her, right? So timing, your time's almost out. And then something clicks and she hears a voice of a man like say something. And then all of a sudden, so it's blackout, meaning I'm having memory loss. And all of a sudden she's in this room and it's like a fairly small room. And then that's where the plexiglass is, and the kitten is there, and the little kitten is screaming, it's hungry, it needs help, and the whole room is being filled with sand. So like sands of time. And this is all associated with this man. I'm not sure where he was, but he is somehow related to the sand. He's the sand man, she calls him now. I used to call him Triangle Eyebrow because one of our altars, Lolita, danced with him, which I'll get to that real quick in a minute. Sorry, an altar's coming forward. Is it okay we're talking about this? Okay, okay. It's
Absolutely.
okay, good. This is just what comes up for me as a survivor. I know other survivors, so thank you for affirming that. So again, the memory, the sand was just starting to come up, and she was knocking, the altar inside was knocking on the plexiglass, and she thought that if only I try hard enough, I could get this kitty. And then it started being tortured, and the stab in the eyes and stuff, and just hearing that is so sad. And then the sand came up, and so my whole life I've often had this, so I'll get this feeling of just absolute despair, and a little child, what I now know is an altar, a child altar, will come forward and be like, I want to start over, I want to start over. And I used to think that was like me playing Legends of Zelda and stuff, and I but I know video games are often in the torture of children, but I don't think I have that in my story. But I have these little games they did, um, where yeah, she wanted to start over when the sand was almost like it would get up here and then I black out. I don't know what happened after that. I guess there's a reason I don't like beaches. There's a lot of reasons I don't like beaches because there's also programming involving tsunamis. They do so much shit to children. It's actually absolutely
Horrible.
nefarious and evil. Yeah, it's just horrible. So anyways, what was happening in therapy 2 days ago is that that little came forward and she was bawling like snot and everything, but and she kept saying like, because my therapist was saying comforting things, and she was able to get some stuffed animals, so she was able to actually hold comfort, which is a completely reparative experience. And she was thanking my therapist for not laughing at her, back to that laughter about any sort of emotion, or, how dare a child cry when a kitten's getting tortured and it's trying to save. And so she has that survivor's guilt too, which is a huge, I have survivor's guilt as well, and so does she. And so I got that reparative experience, and it's really interesting with DID in that, I could hear her, and I was like back here and bearing witness to her pain, and I could feel her pain too. But then when I came forward again and she went, back in the inner world, if you will, or, the inner world, then I felt the tears, So it's really interesting because I just DID is really interesting as well, like, and incredible. So, yeah, so that's part of healing. And also like people wouldn't know I'm going through that, right? Like, people wouldn't be like, look at this woman, like, oh, she's having memories of torture. And like, so yeah. Thanks for
Thank
bearing
you for
witness.
sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
It's so sad. Like, people have no idea like how horrific this stuff is. There's not even a horror movie that somebody could watch that could portray what this would be like, that young going through something so horrific, just like little innocent kids, innocent animals.
Right.
Just like it's so
Right.
sad,
I know,
and just
you're
thinking
so
about like the psychopathy of a person that could do that. And I know a lot of these people are programmed, a lot of them are victimized. There are though
oh, you're
people
so
that
sweet.
enjoy it, and like do this out of joy, like how you said your dad would like laugh at you when you were terrorized from like thinking an eye was coming after you. Like, it's just so sad. You look at those pictures of you and like you're so darling and you have these like dark circles under your eyes and you look so cute. But if you know your story, you can sort of see these little clues in these pictures where it's like, that's a child in despair. You have so much hurt in your heart and you're just like
I
yearning
know.
normalcy and love and somebody to see you, and just to like
Oh,
see that, and again, it's just amazing seeing you here today, like the strength that you have to be able to share these really vulnerable moments and these parts of you that are so courageous that have decided to
oh,
come forward. It's so amazing. I'm just like blown away by you. But I really appreciate you sharing, because these can be the things that are tied to shame,
oh,
can be like the hardest
I'm
thing for survivors to talk about, because
yes.
they're afraid of being judged. And it's like, who would hear this story and be like, oh, how dare you feel emotional over what you went through? Or like, who wouldn't like just bawl their eyes out like hearing this stuff, So
You're so
I
wonderful.
really appreciate you sharing this, and I appreciate your parts for coming forward and sharing these really hard memories too. I just can't even fathom.
Oh, I love you so much. You're
No, I
such
love
a
you
just
too.
a remarkable. You having these feelings helps not just us heal, but other people's who are bearing witness to my story and watching your reactions. So thank you so much. Because like we've seen, like myself and other survivors, we've seen like again, people would laugh and get boners. Like she was describing to our therapist about how that the man that she's like, he's evil because she's seen horrific things he's done. She was describing his boner when he and other men's like erections when they're doing torturing something else. They get this she's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a certain type that like normal penises do not do. Like it's, I'm not saying they like, I don't know. It's just really, really red. I'm sorry for being graphic and really just like disgust, like there's just something that is added. I'm sure they were on a ton of like meth or something, but or cocaine. I don't know. I don't think they were actually. I think they were sober and just feeling it. Um, but yeah, they get off to this. So having a reparative experience with someone who's actually a human being and in touch with themselves is incredibly healing. So thank you so much for bearing witness and feeling with us. Um, and also back to those clues. So here's a picture of me, um, as a child, being held by my dad. Also, if anyone knows about these square things, because yellow is a part of like torture stuff for us and like shutdown programming. But I've noticed my great grandpa, who's the jester guy, he has similar. I'll have to find the picture, square things like that with certain patterns. It's sus. It might look normal, but there's something sus there. So his hand is on my crotch. And who would keep this picture? Like, I look clearly uncomfortable. That's not like a family keepsake, right? You know what I mean? Like, who would pick this picture? But again,
Totally.
I think this is one of my mom's alters who's trying to keep some, proof for me.
Evidence.
So the hand, and then do you see the bruise?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. So this is the same one of the times we were abused in Northern California. So two things happened in this area and further areas up. So here it is again. He's just a fucking creep with his serial killer glasses, and you can see like I have pictures of my sibling in this area too, and my sibling has black eyes. Like
Oh,
you can tell, and it looks in another picture around the same age, it literally looks like the bone was broken here. And again, why do they have pictures of this? Like, hee hee. Like, that's us on a good day? What did we look like on a bad day? You know? It's
yeah.
insane. And there's a lot of pictures of us being emaciated looking, and we never grew up poor, but we grew up manipulated. So food is and starvation is a huge part of it, and neglect, but like good old-fashioned neglect. But yeah, so yeah, this was the night after, so similar area, and also I think near Zorro Ranch were some places. Fuck scene
Really?
related. I really think that, have you heard of that human safari thing that's coming up about Italia? This thing that happened with rich people. Um, which also makes me think of the mafia, right? The Italian mafia probably brought that over and stuff. Um, yeah, fuck you, mafia, and fuck you, those people who. Oh, I'm sorry. You
Fuck
shouldn't
you,
do it.
Bechtel.
Fuck you, Bechtel's what it comes out to. I love you so much. So God. The end. Just fuck you, Bechtel. We're coming for you, bitch. Oh God, that was hilarious. So I believe I was near. Something about Zorro Ranch, or at least the area, is something with my story. And definitely, I believe, allegedly, whatever, everything I'm saying here, alleged, blah, bleep, bloop, that human safari type stuff happened in the desert to people, is what I think. And I really think that they need to investigate, like, not people who are going to cover it up, people and high up and FBI and stuff, but people need to investigate, because I truly believe there's a shit ton of bones buried on his thing.
Oh.
I'm getting feedback. Oh, no, I'm not anymore. I was kidding
Okay.
for a second. So anyways, Northern California, I just want to share a couple of memories I have.
And is this Benicia still, or is this a different area?
Oh, this is up further north. So
Gotcha. Okay.
so this isn't Bohemian Grove per se, but think that area
Gotcha.
for these
Okay.
things. Yeah, up north more. Um, dad, hold on, which one do I want to tell first? Well, one that's coming to mind is that they would do a thing called the first hunt. I don't know what season it is, but there would be men in like old-timey clothes, like not like old-timey, like whatever I think a early 1900s hunting outfit would look like. That's what they looked like to me. And so there were a line of children. So this is in the forests of, up north in California, farther, up north in the redwoods. And they would have the children lined up, and there would be beagles barking. And I just hear them be like, I forget what they'd say to start it, but like ready, set, go. But I don't even think they said ready, set, go. They just made us, I think they just shot up in the air, but they had these muskets. And so all the children, when that happened, we all ran. We were running, trying to get behind trees, trying to hide. And I just remember, like, I was so tunnel focused on getting as far as I could. And I knew zigzags, you're less likely, or, to get shot. I went behind trees and all these things. And I remember trying to save a little girl. I don't know what happened to her, because this is a very short memory. And yeah, I don't know. That's just a memory up in Northern California. And I think the little girl must have been 4 and I must have been like 7, but I don't know. I don't know how many times that happened, but that's a memory I have. And like, I hope I'm crazy, but it's a thing. It's a thing that's in my head and feels real, you know? And they do horrific things to kids.
Yes.
So,
That's
right?
like a common thing that has come up in a lot of testimonies are these like human hunting parties where these men set children loose in these estates or private environments where there's nobody can hear the child. There's nowhere for the child to go. It's all blocked off either way. The child can't actually go anywhere. They just tell them to run. The children do frantic and there's nowhere for them to go. All of them end up getting found at some point, and then they do all different things to the kids. And it's absolutely horrific. I can't. That's like something to me. It's like just beyond, terror. I couldn't even imagine like an adult chasing me through the woods as an adult, me at my age.
Right?
if somebody was chasing me through the woods somewhere, like it would be the most horrifying thing ever. I can't even imagine being young. You know, I'm so sorry that you have those memories. That had to have been so horrifying to, you know, to contend with, and to just understand from that child's point of view that there were people that did these things to you. It's horrific.
Right. And thank you for saying that, because we, like, this is our normal. Like, that was just what adult men do, right? So to survivors, like, and they even gave us a chance to run. Wow, what a great opportunity. You know, that was like, oh, they gifted, you know, because they fuck with everything. So it's good to hear reality. And I personally am so dissociated with it because there are multiple alters who holds those memories and the feelings. And that's part of the polyfragmented large dissociative identity disorder symptoms or systems. How else are you going to fucking survive these things? Like, I hate it when people say that's not real. It's like, okay, well, it is real. Like, it's, of course I'm going to have thousands of fragments of horrific things like that. I needed to slice off little bits of these. Like, some altars can hold like a few seconds of a smell of, like, you know, body fluids or something, and then that's put in a certain part in here, and that's just like organic DID, not the ones intentionally created by outside people, you know. Like, so fuck you people that are saying that stuff's not real. It is, and it's a horrible way to be, you know, because your life is so fragmented and there's so much loneliness and pain inside because there's so much that needs to be seen. So everyone, you know, I just wanted to put that out there. It's real, and it's real. I wish it weren't.
I just want to comment too real quick, just another validating thing that I saw come up the other day. There's actually a news headline that surfaced recently. I don't think this was very recent that this happened. I want to say it was like maybe the 1990s, and you might have seen it. There was actually a news headline that came out that talked about, I forget what country it was, but there were American men and men from all over the world that could pay $90,000 to go to some country and be able to hunt humans as a game. And this happened, and it's coming out now that this was actually a thing that men were allowed to do. I don't think it was just specifically children. They could go hunt anybody, but it was something that happened where there was a transaction that happened, you know, from many men who wanted to go to another country and do this. So for people who think that this doesn't happen, there's actually, you just go type it in Google, like $90,000, you know, human hunting. And you'll probably see a headline come up that came up recently that shows that there were a ton of people that willingly did this, you know, and paid, you know, almost $100,000 to go to travel somewhere to actually do this sport that Charlotte is talking about. So I just wanted to share that because I had never seen, you know, it's in a lot of testimonies, but you don't see this leaking out in any way publicly. And that
validating.
An actual fact. Yes. Disgusting.
Yeah, that makes me want to vomit. And I mean, I relate. And I'd heard something about that. That's
there was something, I saw a couple videos on TikTok of it too. So you might have scrolled by it and saw, you know, something come up about it.
But I didn't know those details of, I thought it was just foreign men. I didn't know. I mean, I know American men do this, but the American men in purchasing, paying.
I'm pretty sure it was American and foreign men that could, there was like a specific area of the world. Yeah. There was like a specific little country or city that they were transported to, and they could specifically, like, legally do this and pay for it, and nobody knew about it.
That makes me think of a thing I need to read more into, but just about all those billionaires that, it's an island, like, I think South America or maybe Africa. I don't know. It's an island that apparently, like, a bunch of billionaires have bought together, and they just go, like, I feel like it's related to the Royal Order of Jesters, to be honest, because it's like, all we go is just hang out there. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably hunting humans. Like, what else are you going to do that where you have to go to this remote island thing and, like, pull a fuck steen? But it's, I know you're doing other weird shit too. Not, you know. So, where were we at? Just thank you for the validation, and just, it's disgusting. It's devastating. And having a safer environment and, like, supportive people who genuinely believe you and have reactions that should be the reaction, you know, empathy and, you know, and sympathy, like, and feeling and mama bear stuff. Oh, are you putting Ew. Oh, Bosnia. I haven't seen this one. I think I saw some, or I don't know what I saw, but wait, can you go down a little bit?
Yeah, isn't that? Yeah, let me go back to the
Ew.
screen real quick.
Ew.
Sniper safaris. You were just talking about the safaris, early
Oh,
1900s or
ew.
1990s.
Ew. And
Men, women,
the,
or children. Different rates were charged for who they wanted to hunt.
ew.
11,000 people.
Oh my God. That makes me so
So, I mean,
sad.
and this is like a proven thing that they're coming out and talking about. So, I mean, if people think that there's not humans that would do this, this is saying that 11,000 people were hunted and died during this 4 years. People paid $90,000 to do this to 11,000 people, and nobody around the world knew about it until recently. So there's no, you can't say that this doesn't happen. It 100%.
Yeah, exactly. This is,
And if people were to pay for it, imagine the people that would be granted the opportunity to do it for free or to not have to pay for it.
oh,
And to
I
get
know.
like, you know,
Um,
horrifying.
it's horrifying, and it's so, well, nice is a weird term, but nice that there's proof like this. That's gonna help have change and people believe survivors finally, or some people, and then start, amplifying voices and everything. Um, another,
I'm just going to bring up one more of the
oh,
same thing that gives it's
kids.
a little bit more specific. I'm just going to show that real
Yes,
quick
no,
before we,
please,
yeah.
please, please.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So that happened. And you guys can go look it up yourself. I'll even put it in the show notes for this episode. You guys can go look. Oop. Okay, but I'll continue.
Thank you. So we put so another thing that happened in Northern California, this was a nighttime memory. And so I've always had the body memories of everything, but I always had this particular, so I love redwood trees. I love trees in general, and they're very healing, but I have a very complicated relationship with them because of where I was, certain places I was tortured, like the hunting thing I was just telling you about. And then I also have this many memories, but one that's more, I have more of a narrative and visuals in my head of being, it was nighttime under the full moon and men in robes. I don't remember the color here. I think they were black, but it was also, the only thing we had was the moonlight, to the children could see. Oh, wait, sorry, back real quick. This feels important to say. When they were hunting us, there were nobody screamed because each child, we were all trying to be as quiet as we could. I could hear the breathing, I could hear my own breathing and trying to make it so quiet. Like when people tell me to deep breathe, because that can be a technique to help people calm their nervous system, but me breathing could get me killed. There are several scenarios where if I were breathing too loud or had breath, they would find me. So I have a complicated relationship with calming my nervous system in that way. So abuser groups just they want to make it damn near impossible for survivors to heal, because if we start healing, then we start talking, and we start talking all that stuff. So that's another thing to point out about survivors. Look at us be awesome. Like, that's really cool. Like, they try so hard. Again, they would not try so hard to control us if we weren't that powerful. We are so powerful that they have to desperately try all these bajillions of things to try to like keep us small, and then we're like, bitches. So, so back to the oh, one other thing is I just remember the crunching of the leaves of the men's feet, their shoes and the crunching. So like those things haunt me all the time. Like that'll just come up and it's a threat. So say I'll start remembering something, maybe that'll come up as another threat. But just these evil people. So another getting abused in the woods. So it's nighttime under the full moon because they do a bunch of weird rituals and stuff under the full moon. And also a lot of people can find healing under the moon and that energy. Some people find a lot of peace in that. So there's another thing they want to fuck with is anything good, they pervert it, or anything potentially good. But I remember these men, again, the children are all sporadically moving. I don't remember like a line or a start time. What like the hunting memory, but I just remember children scattered about. And also, it's actually possible that I had escaped something. I don't know. Like, somehow I may not have, it may be that I shouldn't have been there. Um, but I was trying to protect this little girl, and it's not a dissociated part of me. I don't think it was the same girl I was trying to protect in the previous memory, the hunting memory I was telling you guys about. And I do suspect I know this little girl. Like in current, she's still alive, so that's cool. Um, but anyways, we're hiding behind the trees and trying to be quiet, but what we're witnessing are these men in robes walking in tandem. Like they practice this shit. I don't know what they do. Like they do a good job. I mean, they get in a trance themselves, right? So I guess they get this particular cadence. And I don't remember what it was, but they're holding some sort of incense. Like I'll have to draw it because it's hard for me to make words, and it's going back and forth. I don't think that kept in line, but their feet kept in line, and the incense off of it, like, I don't know, they're all holding it. There's at least 4 men. I'm sure there's more, 5, 6, I don't know. At least 5 walking in tandem through the woods. It's just a really weird memory. And then then my memory stops. Like, these little pieces of my life appear and have been sprinkled throughout my life, and this is just life as someone who's been horrifically abused, and we're trying to we are putting things together. Um, so that's a horrific thing. And one of the reasons I believe myself so much in that memory is a flashback I had where this was probably no, this was like 5, it was pre-COVID. So whatever, 2019. I was with a friend, and it was when the ritual abuse memories were kind of coming, not just the body memories, but like more of a narrative. But I was super like, I had just been diagnosed with DID in 2018, and then my partner he had died then, the one, and so like there was a lot going on where the ritual abuse memories I kind of was still like, but my friend at the time, she was like, "Hey, let's go play flashlight tag under the full moon in the forest here with some people." And like, which is fun. I don't think she intentionally was like, "Hey," like, I don't know. It sounded fun, I guess. So we went to the woods and we started playing, and then a little came forward, started screaming and bawling and just screaming. And like, I was trying to control it. I was trying, like, don't let anyone see this. But the flashback was so intense. Because that had happened to me as a child. Weird men, like, doing the weird things under the full moon and the flashlight. Like, the flashback help validate to me that memory I'm telling you about is real. Like, the flashback itself. And my friend was so good, and so were her friends who were there too, and they were so nice, and she like talked to us like a mom, it was really, really sweet. That friendship ended up exploding. She has a lot of trauma herself, and I've often wondered if she has some ritual abuse in there too, but more will be revealed. And I'm not sure if that friendship is a part of gang stalking type stuff, but whatever. It's more will be revealed. But another that brings me to another a flashback I've had, because I'll doubt myself all the time, right? And that's by design and also society, etc., etc. But I've had flashbacks when I was, I think, about 13. I had this flashback in my childhood home of where, and I didn't know it was a flashback at the time, but all of a sudden the room started spinning, which is common in survivors. They have spin like programming, and so when you remember, the spinning things happen. And also, yeah. And so the whole room started spinning, and I just started just like doing this. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. And in retrospect, that was a flashback. And then I also have a flashback of or what is PTSD, flashback of where all of a sudden I was like naked in my mind's eye. I was just laying on my bed naked. Then I started screaming, and then I see my dad. I mean, this was after he died, after he died. So my dad, it was in my mind's eye seeing him. He was naked and he was over me and he was like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. Cause that's something they do. They torture you and they're telling you it's not happening at the same time. And so that was a flashback there. So fuck these people.
Fuck these people. Fuck Bechtel. Fuck these people.
Fuck Bechtel. Fuck these people. Fuck bitches. Whatever.
Fuck the jesters.
Okay, yeah, fuck the jesters. Fuck you, Navy. Fuckity fuck. So, can we pull up the pictures of?
Yeah. Want to go through this quick?
Yeah, because it's the previous video. Just talking to everybody here. First off, everyone who's here, thank you for watching this. It means a lot to me. Yeah, just thank you. And someone on the last video mentioned, because I had mentioned about my dad drinking my pee, in like everyday life, he's just drinking my pee. And I thought it had to do with some sort of him getting high off of it and something else. But someone mentioned a god that's associated with like a god. And that rang a bell. So I think my dad was like, I'm a god and drinking pee or something. So if anyone can find, this is some of his artwork he collected throughout the years. If anyone knows any history about this, I'm not sure if that's a god, a priest, or, a depiction of a priest. So if anyone has information on this, and then what's the next one? Or that woman falling. Any information on this or thoughts about it, what's the next one?
Interesting. Looks like water, a couple fish.
Right?
That one went over. This one's another.
Yeah, that might be clear. Oh, and that's an abuser right there, but I'm not ready to show his face.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, everybody. It's just not safe for me to do that right now. So
we're trying to figure out what this is anyways. The abuser doesn't have to, we want information on whatever this is. Fuck you, abuser.
Fuck you, abuser. Somehow involved in Bechtel. He's another Bechtel fuck. So
interesting.
Yeah, so there's that. And then that's just so that boat thing. I mean, I'm sure they're carrying them to the underworld or some shit like that, right? I don't know what that is.
It's very interesting. Different versions of it. Oh.
I know, and look at precious me. Oh, and me up there too. The kitty cat programming or whatever.
Oh, and then there's something behind you. Look how freaking adorable you are. Look at you.
Oh, I know. Look how cute she is. Oh,
she's smiling at you. That's for you, that smile.
Oh, I'm coming to rescue you, little one. I'm so proud of you.
And this, oh, look at you.
Yeah, I'll show
when kitty cat.
You're right. With that, I'll show you a couple pictures, guys, after we do that.
And then this one.
Yeah, so this one I wanted also. So that's the artist or stamp on it or whatever. And then I think there's one more. Yeah. So everybody look at this. This was artwork my dad had. It's somehow, again, I think my mom was collecting things because that one I actually have in real life. The other ones I don't. But it's a priest. The information I can get off of it. It is a priest on top of a slave. It looks like he's giving offerings to the gods. And look what it is. A tiny human. Right? And I've seen white, if you will, whitewashed versions or whatever, where he's giving a harvest and he's on a little stand. But my dad had this, and I think my dad thought he was one of those priests and saw a lot of people as slaves and then did the little offering thing.
Bizarre.
Right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would love if anybody knew what some of this was, if they could comment or find you on TikTok, which we'll share that in a minute too. But yeah, I would love if somebody could help connect these dots. These are definitely unique. They're not something every day that you see in people's homes or anywhere. It's like very, it seems like very symbolic art.
Yeah. It definitely is to me. So we're going to do a little, oh, baby me. Look how cute she is. And there's a lot of like And then I want to show
Oh,
this one, and he's doing hypnosis on her. This is Lolita.
the
It's
monarch.
hard to see, but that's, yeah, and that's our the dad monster guy. He is doing neurolinguistic hypnosis on her. And I have a lot of memories, or she does, being in front of, like, there's a fuck in the birthday book, fuck scene, a picture drawn by little kids of these, like, people watching her perform or something like that. Long story short, is she was made to perform on big stages. And what they did, this obviously isn't a big stage. It's hard to see, but there's little kids back here. And one, this is a mirror, and one is in the arms of a parent, I'm assuming. And it does not look happy, but he's doing cues to make her do different things. And I think he's like showing off her skills, because on the memory of being on this big stage in front of like a bunch of people that would clap and stuff, there would be cues given, and I think they were like, look at our technology, do you want her, stuff like that, like really, really creepy things. So eventually neurolinguistic programming stuff they did at Monroe Institute type stuff in the government, and there's documents available about how they're like, we're using neurolinguistic programming for great purposes, like to give people self-esteem and all this stuff. So they're using it. They're just not telling us yet with the horrific things. So there was one other thing I wanted to say. I don't remember. It'll come back or it won't. Oh,
I
look
said
at,
these photos of you were so precious.
I know. And also she loved to dance. I love to dance too, but she loved to dance. And I wish that we could have done something with that, like for our own love. I mean, I get to enjoy it and I don't need to like have made a career out of it, but imagine had she been able to enjoy that our whole life instead of it being associated with horrific things.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's just horrible, so many different things that they invert in your life, things that should be enjoyable or things that, gifts that you have that you should be able to utilize for what you want to do good in the world. It's just horrific, like how they find a way to make everything evil.
they really do. And then we get to reclaim it though. Fuck you,
Yes.
Bechtel. So I'll end on these guys. So these are other arts that my dad had. So this is like whatever these gods are.
Oh,
Like the previous one
interesting.
was Mayan, right? The previous one, and this
Yeah.
is Hinduism, I think, that they're perverting. And again, there are good things. I don't mean to demonize other religions. Like, I mean, I know the Mayans were like doing what they were doing, but I'm sure they had good stuff too. But so I'm not trying to demonize, like they demonize Christianity, all, everything. So because I don't like when people are like, oh, only Christianity. Like, I think we should see a lot of beauty and themes of spiritual principles everywhere. That's just my, so I'm not trying to demonize this religion, but my dad perverted shit. And yeah, so I showed this to my friend who's Indian and practices uh is I don't know. Sorry, my brain is blanking on names and stuff, but I showed her this, and then this one. So cliche, isn't the Shiva? I don't
It
remember,
looks
but
just like it. Yeah.
right, the forearms. So
Yeah.
how cliche is this? Like, I'm like, so I showed her these and she was like, you need to burn these. She's like, this is about child torture. And she knew a little bit of my story. She's like, this God tortures children and blah, blah, blah. And the fact this is there and this, she's like, these are actually like, and she's not like, she is very level-headed. So for her to have this reaction was especially noted. So yeah, and then also a note is that one of our altars, like I was talking about, that Grim Reaper altar I have an
Mm.
altar that believes that she's Shiva or whatever this. Yeah, and the one time I was co-conscious with her, meaning like I was bearing witness to her experience being in the body, she literally saw Shiva in the mirror, like saw that, thought that that's what we were having, and thought there were four arms. And what was happening at the time, something had triggered this, a relational issue, but and a culmination of things. But she was like doing this with the arms and holding a knife and cutting the arms, and it would like switch, like the knife was real, like we were actually physically cutting ourselves. And it has to do with like memories coming back, because we have a Nazi altar who he doesn't, his name is Zelicht, which is really interesting, because, and we've named none of them, none of altars, they come with the names, but that's a Jewish name, which I find it, I'm just like, yeah, I looked it up and I'm like, you're a Nazi, this is weird. But anyways, Zelicht, and we've done a lot of progress with him in terms of inner world work, but he doesn't come forward, but he serves as like, don't look at this memory. And he's a shaming thing, and he's just like, nope, not gonna get this far, kind of thing. The stuff back there you're not allowed to look at because abusers put me here. But anyways, he has come forward, or not, sorry, he will put Lolita, she'll come forward, he'll put her under a spell, like he'll hypnotize her and have her do things to the body when we have memories. So something that happens is he'll hypnotize her, she'll come forward, and she's cut our arm before, and Zelicht is like, X marks the spot, which is also on the left arm, where like Jewish people in concentration camps would get their numbers tattooed. Yeah, so it's very specific through these different storylines. And back to the cave, I'm not going to go into it right now because I need to regulate after this. But that cave, the picture I showed you at the beginning, a lot of Nazi weird imagery things happened inside the cave per experimentation and splitting the mind. Yeah, my therapist told me, she's like, yeah, the thing you're describing is a real thing. It has to do with split screens and like putting the child's eyes, and it's horrific.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so fuck these bitches, but it's a real thing. And the video.
Moral of the story.
Yeah, the moral, fuck these bitches. Just fuck these bitches. I love you so much.
I love you. Oh my gosh. That's all we can do is laugh through all of this horror, you know?
Oh, I know. Morbid humor, and humor is a coping mechanism. And I'm very lucky I can find joy, you know, in the yeah.
Well, it's like, otherwise we're just going to cry. There's some survivors that I've interviewed where that's a big coping mechanism. They'll sort of like laugh through some of the hard things that they're talking about, and I'll get comments from people who don't understand. They're like, why are they laughing during that memory? And it's like, what else? Like, otherwise you just claw your eyes out. Like, it is a coping mechanism. Like, you have to like just find a way to, you know, get through some of this stuff. Laughing is the best way, because you do feel joy whenever like you can make yourself laugh, you know?
Exactly. It helps regulate the nervous system, and that's a safe enough way.
100%. Yes.
I forget that people don't understand that.
Yeah, it's amazing to me, because I'm like, you've never tried to tell a hard story and you're trying not to cry, and so you sort of like smile or like giggle through it. Like, that's just like
right. I'm often like,
that we do. Yeah, like you have to.
I'm glad we're educating people, you know, and not shaming them for it, because
100%.
yeah, because people, I could definitely see people being like, oh, well, this didn't happen because you're laughing through it or something, you know.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not even a survivor of these things, and I have to make myself do that sometimes, where I'm just going to bawl my eyes out listening to it, you know, or thinking about it. Like, it's just a way that we get through things in life, you know. That's why we have crying and laughing, you know. They both serve a purpose if they're used in a healthy way.
Exactly. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too, girl. And I know you just shared a lot. I want you to have some time to regulate tonight. Before we log off, though, I do want to reshare your TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Platform that you share a lot of your story on, and it's a really good way that people can go connect with you and support you. So do you want to share about that? I'm going to bring it up on the screen too.
Oh, yeah. So I started TikTok like 5 years ago, when the ritual abuse memories and the DID was really starting to integrate. But I didn't do a trauma talk, like talking about my trauma, until a few years later. So I have like an OG account that is not trauma based. But then I did another TikTok that was purely about some of my trauma, but I was not talking about ritual abuse and mind control. I was. Lolita would come forward and talk about being buried alive and those kind of situations. But overall, it was more, it's pretty distant from the Ramkoa. And so this one, the previous one, the first trauma account, you know, TikTok I was talking about, that one got banned after about 2 years of finding survivors, and a few I'm still in touch with, so that's really good. A few I'm still in touch with, but it got banned when I made a video, I think 10 months ago about Bill Clinton, Fuckstein, and Trump, which is really weird because so many people talk about Fuckstein and various peoples, not just those three people, and they get like millions of views, and it did a weird thing. So basically, it told me I was telling the truth about what I was talking about. I was like, okay. So anyways, and then I almost was silenced by that. I think that was part of gang stalking too. You know,
Oh
because
yeah.
they do that online. Obviously, cyberstalk
Mass
is a thing.
reporting. Yep.
Yep. So, and then obviously if the people in charge of it, Elon Musk, if they are too tied with things, you know, of course they're going to target, you know, survivors who are speaking up, and it's just weird. You know, it is what it is. And that almost silenced me. Like I almost was like, I'm never going to do another TikTok. And then a few months ago, I was
Oh,
like, you know what? Fuck it. So then I started TikTok, and so I talk about the things I'm talking about right here, the Ryan Coa stuff. Really getting more vocal around that. And that 5.2 million view, it's interesting with the pictures of the little me. It's really interesting because my previous TikTok, I got more people who were like very skeptical and pretty shaming. But on this video, so many people are so validating, and like it's nice to see a societal
amazing.
change. Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, here's my
100%.
page. Yeah.
And it's at, you guys can type in _healing or redemption. Anytime I type either of those in, it brings you to her account, or you guys can go in the show
Okay.
notes and I'm going to have her account down there. You can just click it and it'll take you right to her TikTok. So however you guys want to do it, but I would encourage you guys to go follow her, to go help uplift her, share her videos, comment on them, help the algorithm if you guys can. And also if you guys want to talk directly to her, you guys can send her a message directly here on this site and connect with her privately. If something you want to say you don't want to leave in the comments or don't want to send to my email, please reach out to Charlotte if you guys have any corroboration or if you guys want to offer encouragement or just connect with her. I would really, really love if you guys could go on and support her. It's a great enough free way that you guys can support survivors by just sharing their social media and helping them be seen. So I'm going to have that in the show notes. And Charlotte, just thank you for coming on today. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for making us laugh and cry with you, and for your education. And, you know, just thank you for being you. It's just incredible hearing these stories from you and seeing where you're at today. Like it sends chills down my spine and makes my hair stand up. I'm just like, what a fucking miracle you are. And fuck Bechtel.
Thank you. Yeah, fuck you, Bechtel. We're coming for you. Can I share one more thing? Can I share one more thing?
Yes, absolutely, please.
Okay,
Yep.
so part of my healing stuff I do read oracle cards, or you know, I have them because I'm like pretty pictures. And this one's an angel deck, so healing with angels is what it is. And so I pulled some cards. Yeah, healing with angels. And so a card that comes all the time is Archangel Michael. He's all up in my business, and he is so kind and so healing, and it's so nice because he in the reading about it, you know, because they have a little booklet, it talks about how just talk to him. He's here, and it's nice to have a safe male presence. Like he is so cool. And I'll draw these cards, and then he always pops up, and I'm like, okay, I've decided to keep him out, and I put him out where I can look. And so I know, you know, so because I need visuals. I have all these visuals in my room about healing stuff, and like I have something that says surrender to setting limits, surrender to rest and sleep, so I can kind of visually be cute and grounded. So he's out and about. And then I also pulled this one, divine guidance. So I know, and so I feel
That's so
like,
perfect.
isn't it? Because I'm having so many more dots aligned here. And then healing, which is what we're doing here. I know.
Look, it's us.
I know. I thought the same thing. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there because like it's just, yeah.
What a nice
Yay.
little way to close the show. Thanks for sharing that. I really loved that. And just thank you again for coming on. Is there anything else that you wanted to say, or did we get to cover everything?
Got to cover everything. Just one last thing to survivors is you are badasses. You are amazing, incredible, way more powerful than they are. And also don't forget self-care, because even if you're not triggered or think you're not, you probably are someone inside. So sending lots of love if that feels okay. Okay, I'm done.
And on that note, you guys, please go in the show notes, connect with Charlotte. I'll have all my information down there as well. We couldn't do this without you guys. You guys are really the catapult and the anchor that keeps us going. You guys are the reason why we do this and the reason why these stories get heard. So thank you guys so much for listening. Bless you all, and we will see you next time.